Hi, my name is Maddie, and unfortunately I won't be able to make it today for the forum, but this is my way of participating in this. And then...
So how long have you been here, Maddie?
A year, almost.
Where are you living now, Maddie?
A CIU.
Yep.
And that is where, like, you have 24-hour care, but you have your own room, and yeah, you know, you get to cook once a week and stuff like that. So it's just like, it's more like a home sort of style rather than like living with your parents or living in respite, I think.
So do you live with other people or you live on your own?
I live with, I think, 4 other people. So 5 including me, but I include myself. But yeah, like, and there'll be a 6th person moving in, hopefully. And there's like 2 units to my house, so one side is like got its own kitchen and the other side has. So it's sort of separated, which is good, and I like the design. And we've got like an outdoor area here that I can go out from my room, which is good.
What's the best thing about moving out of home?
The best thing is that, like, I guess you have more freedom and stuff like that, and it just sort of feels like that you're a real adult sort of thing.
What's been the most challenging thing? Like, what's the hardest thing about moving out?
Well, it's a bit hard for me because, like, basically what happened to me is I sort of had no choice but to move out, so it was a bit a different circumstance. But I mean, it was just very difficult because I was in a respite and it was hard to settle. But now I feel a bit more settled, and the thing that I find most challenging is that it doesn't matter where you go, there's always these people that don't understand and they don't do their job properly, and that's what I find really hard. And I find it hard sometimes when I want to do something, but there's like 4 other people that are doing something, or something happens, or they're running behind, and then I sort of feel like that I miss out, and I get frustrated because it's sort of like you have to have a lot of patience and stuff like that, and it's so frustrating.
So what things would you say people need to think about before moving out?
Well, basically, like, my realistic advice would be, before your parents or whatever get too old or whatever happens, it's best to go on a waiting list, because then at least you've been on it for a while, because housing is absolutely shit for people with a disability. Like, you'll be waiting until you actually push and say, like, that you want to move out, or that your parents get too old and they say they can't do it anymore, then you don't actually get put on the list, because they think, oh, shit, they're okay because they're still at home. But it's not like that, and people are too afraid to actually say, well, I can't cope anymore, so these people think it's okay to leave them on the bottom of the list.
What would be the number one thing you would love to change about the housing system?
I think, firstly, I'd like to say that I think they need to think about, like, also, like, building a lot more accessible housing and things like that, because I find that there's, like, even, like, I've heard stories about the units, that if people want to move into a unit, it's hard to find an accessible place, and they should, like, build more housing, not just for, like, CRUs, but like independent living, everything. But they just need to do that. Otherwise, like this is going to be a continuous problem with the issue of housing not just in Melbourne but in Australia even. If people don't start building and start planning and thinking about, well, what about disability can happen to anyone? What about if someone was living in a house that had stairs and then they had, I don't know, an accident and they couldn't get up the stairs, and then they were starting to not be able to afford their rent and all this, and then they couldn't find anywhere to live that was affordable, so then they were on the street.
Is there anything else you want to say?
And there's one other thing that I want to add that is really important to me. I don't know how other people feel, but I feel like that in the disabilities field, there are so many people that come into this field that are so uneducated, and they just go for an interview. They don't have any sort of training, and also they don't really do it from their heart. I mean, I know it's a job and people need money, but I believe that you have to have a heart and a sense of humour, otherwise what's the point? Like, you could get a job somewhere else that probably these people would enjoy more because it pays more, and people complain about the pay, but it's not all about the pay. They should go somewhere else. I mean, I'm sick of it,
Are you talking about support workers?
Yeah, because it's just an ongoing issue everywhere you go. You always find these people that shouldn't even be here, but they just get, they fall into the career, and then it's hard. They don't get out of it, and we have to put up with them.
Yep.
Goodbye.